What's this about a fever emergency? Nasty nausea? Too many pills? And what's with this body-racking fatigue? Maracas! What? Come with me through the curtain of blurred colons and find out what's going on in my cancer story. Welcome to the Tumour-tastic Video Diary number 25. Hi, Scats here. They know who you are. It's Friday, June the 7th, and this is Video Diary number 25. What's been going on? You have been poisoning me. Well, you know it was the start of the IV chemo last Thursday, right? So, Friday I felt relatively okay. I was tired from lack of sleep and a long day on Thursday, but apart from that, nothing serious seemed to be going on until late in the evening, after I'd eaten and had my chemo tablets, I felt hot. Now that's not unusual for me after eating a hot meal and reclining on the settee covered in dog, so at first I wasn't worried, but I got hotter. And the advice I'd been given by the miming nurses last week was if my temperature went to 38 degrees centigrade or higher, I should go immediately and without passing go to the nearest emergency hospital. Eek! Serves you right, you bastard. Why is it such an emergency? Well, I believe it's because my immune system is compromised by the chemo treatment. So, if I get a fever, I won't be able to fight it off, which could be very, very serious, even fatal. I told you I'd take you down with me. So I used my recently purchased electric thermometer to take my temperature, and it said 38.6. Eek! Again! I took some more readings to check the results because these kinds of home thermometers are renowned for giving varied results, if you believe the reviews. I tried it in both ears a few times, still above 38. I tried it on the forehead and that was about 37.8. So I got Liz to take the readings again in case I was doing it wrong. Still over 38 in both ears. Liz then took the readings of her own temperature to see if they were normal, and they were. That was the final nail in the coffin, you might say. Have you bought your coffin yet? We decided to head immediately to the hospital on the coast where I had the initial colonoscopy, if you remember. It's also where I went just after that when I was bleeding. So, it's become a familiar place. And even though it was a Friday night and there was a chance the place could be very busy if you go by my experience of emergency departments in the UK and Ireland on weekend nights, it turned out to be not very busy at all. We did have to wait for about 45 minutes to go into triage because someone was rushed in by ambulance just after we arrived. So they had to go first, which is fair enough. And there was only one triage person there. Anyway, in the meantime, we checked my temperature again and it had gone below 38. We'd had the aircon on full in the car on the way down, so that could have affected the result. Uncertainty. Oh, the stress is beautiful. Anyway, when it was my turn, the triage doctor asked lots of questions and checked my temperature with her more professional thermometer. It was in the normal range. She took my blood pressure. That was normal. It was really good, actually. She then ordered a blood test and sent me to the waiting room where I was called fairly quickly to a very young-looking doctor in the consulting room to go through more questions and a physical exam. Then I went almost immediately into the nursing station for the blood test, and they left the cannula thing in my arm in case I needed anything else coming out or going in, and then there was about a half-hour wait, maybe slightly more, for the results. Then it was, still got the burps. Side effects. Then it was back to the same doctor in the consulting room. She gave me the all clear. Tests were all normal. Told me it was a common thing to get minor flu symptoms when doing chemo. Just keep an eye on it. And I was to come in immediately if it happened again. By this time it was after 1 a.m. and I was knackered, and so was Liz. So we set off home, hoping for enough sleep so that I could still do the live show in the morning. So, there was bugger all wrong then. So that was all very exciting, in a scary kind of way. I'd rather not to have to go through that again, thank you very much. I'd even packed a small bag in case I had to stay in overnight. Oh well, hopefully it was just a rogue temperature spike. I'll keep you all in the loop, my lovely watchers. I hope you're all well, by the way. Are you? I keep forgetting to ask. I'm a bit selfishly absorbed in my own cancer bubble here, in this veil of blurred colons.
I am not a bubble, you ponce.
Saturday morning came around very quickly. Liz and I had a disagreement over whether this would be day 2 or day 3. Well, I had the treatment on Thursday afternoon, so I was calling Friday day 1. But Liz said surely Thursday was day 1. That's when I started. Isn't it obvious? Not to me, because the first 24 hours, most of it, was in Friday. However, in the interests of marital harmony, I deferred to my darling wife's calendar, because, of course, she's always right.
Man up, you snowflake.
So, on day 3, Saturday, I had a very small coffee before the show. That's the first one I've had for quite a while, hence the small measure. It seemed to do the trick though. After having had only about 4 hours sleep, it did wake up my brain from the fog just enough to cheerily zip through a great live show with Chris. Then I even managed to pop to the shops with Liz before collapsing on the settee to watch the telly for the rest of the day.
Oh, I love a good action movie with death and mayhem.
It's Grand Slam tennis time at the moment, live from Roland Garros in Paris. Very exciting.
Boring.
We love tennis. Very gladiatorial. It's balletic and powerful and exciting, and it's arguably the most challenging sport on the planet. There's none of your 90 minutes of jogging around, pretending to fall over every now and then and crying. This is anything up to 5 hours of one-on-one, high speed, high intensity, massively skillful, instinctively sharp, concentrated genius. We like it a lot. And perhaps the most exciting young star of the sport at the moment, who could dominate all of the Grand Slams, that's Paris, Australia, the US and Wimbledon, for the next 10 to 15 years, is Carlos Alcaraz from Murcia in Spain. Woohoo! He's a complete natural. The final is this Sunday. I can't wait. I'm recording this before today's semi-finals, so I don't know yet whether Carlos has got through. He's actually playing the world number 1 seed, Yannick Sinner, who we watched clinch the Italian team's win at the Davis Cup final in Malaga last year. Tremendous.
It's hitting a ball with some string.
Anyway, back to the first 4 days after the IV chemo. It says in the title I had 4 days of hell. Actually, it was more like 4 days of very nasty unpleasantness, but including 1 day of hell. Sunday came around like a smack in the gut. Up until that point, I'd been taking chemo tablets, paracetamol, a strong stomach settler tablet and an anti-sickness tablet every day. So I was already rattling quite a bit, but on Sunday the nausea was grabbing me much more, so I took the other kind of anti-nausea, or antiemetic as they call them. I have to be careful not to get that word wrong, or I'll get thrown out by the Labour Party.
Nobody's going to get that joke.
And then the diarrhoea started. Oh, joyful day. So I had to start taking tablets to stop that as well. So I was rattling worse than a maraca player with Parkinson's. Apparently, I was as pale as a vampire on a diet, according to Liz. It was bloody awful. When it got to the evening, I decided to do what I should have done earlier. And I bloody well will after the next IV. I took some THC oil that had been generously donated to me by a previous cancer survivor.
Bloody druggy hippies.
Just a grain of rice-sized dab of the stuff on a tiny piece of paper, wrapped up and swallowed, and after a few hours all of the aches and pains and nausea were completely gone. And the diarrhoea tablets were working by then. So I managed to get a really good night's sleep. And I was still completely mashed, to be honest, when I woke up, much to Liz's amusement. She asked if I was okay, and all I could do was lift up my thumbs and grin.
Like a ponce.
So day 5 was quite relaxed. I was still really tired and needed to rest after the horribleness of day 4, so I did absolutely nothing all day. Except watch the tennis, of course.
Oh, not again.
Since then, I've been not too bad. Well, the main symptom is fatigue. I've been calling it tiredness up until this point, but it's definitely turned into fatigue. I didn't realise there was any difference between tiredness and fatigue until yesterday, when 2 things happened. First of all, I tried having a small coffee like I'd had on Saturday morning, and while it woke up my brain a little bit, enough to type some of the script for this video, I still felt like every muscle in my body was shouting, "No!" The second thing that happened was I looked the word up in a dictionary. The difference is quite significant. Total lack of energy is one of the differences. You can be tired but still summon some energy. With fatigue, it's just impossible. There's nothing there.
Just the cold emptiness of despair.
So this is the biggest test of all, and I can understand why a friend said to me, the battle is all up here in my mind. Without any energy in my body, and with the low motivation that comes with it, it's so easy to slump into a morass of desperation and depression and listlessness. The only time I've had fatigue before, I think, was with the flu. And the thing with the flu is that it has a relatively short shelf life. You know, it's usually gone within a few days, maybe a week tops, at least the fatigue part of it anyway. For me, it's never been more than a couple of days. So you just sit it out and sink into some cushions and a duvet for a while. But right now, I'm looking at the possibility of 3 months, maybe more. And that's a whole different ball game, and it's definitely not tennis.
Balls!
One of the first things I've done is cancel the only gig that I'd tentatively and very hopefully booked into the diary for the end of this month. That's a Sunday, and it would be day 11 of the next cycle of treatments. I was told that the effects of the chemo are cumulative. They'll get worse as I go along, which means I'll feel worse than I do today. And today I can't drive, I can't lift a PA system, I can't dance. I'd have trouble singing for more than a few songs. A whole gig would kill me. It's making me very sad, to be honest. I was expecting it, and I'll get over it, but cancelling that one determinedly hopeful gig is just making me sad. Singing and dancing and spreading scar-fueled happiness is a source of joy to me, and it gives me strength, and I just can't do it right now. Sorry.
Boo bloody hoo!
I did manage, though, to record a random words song the other day. I hope you had a listen to it. It's a bit mad, but while it's random and crazy, there's actually a surprising amount of poetry and meaning to it. I managed to weave in lots of pertinent and juicy messages. In fact, all of the random word songs I've done recently have a bit of a common thread. I would love it if you listened to them and tried to work it all out. The last one, the most recent, was called Shellackabuki, and it has a lot of Irish words in there. Shellackabuki is a word for a snail in certain parts of Ireland. It's a colloquial word. And it was suggested to me by my good buddy Leo, who runs Silk's Bar down on the coast at Torrox Costa. I recommend you go there. Anyway, I suggest you look up the Irish words first to find out what they mean, and then tell me in the comments what you think the whole song is all about, and the other songs as well. See if you can sort of work it all out together. Yeah, let's have some lyric appreciation in the comments. You don't have to write an essay. Just tell me what you think.
You are a
Well, that's all for this week. Next week I'll have something else to say, and possibly to sing too. Send me some more random words. I've run out, and look out for the latest song out soon. I'm sure, if you send me some words. I haven't got them yet. Send me them now. Tune in next Friday for another thrilling episode of Frick Off Freddy.
toe rag.
Keep your fingers and toes crossed, you lovely people, and as always, raise your drinking receptacle with me.
Still a feckin' live.
And of course, let's do the cancer dance.